Didn't expect rough seas today. Didn't go well. Seasickness is no joke. Didn't puke, but didn't feel good. Jasper was sick too. But we're better now.
I'm Corey. This is Allie. And this is the Big Cheese, the head honcho, the big kahuna, Captain Bill. Together with our trusty sidekicks LP and Jasper, we quit our jobs, sold everything, and set out on a journey in search for land's beginning. Follow us as we vibe with Mother Nature one day at a time. Good diddly morning. Oscar came by, picked up all of our seat cushions. We're getting seat covers made for all those. Yesterday, our rod holders came in, so we could do some fishing. My new fishing pole also came in. Allie's up, stitching up the other part of the sail bag that was failing.
It's a real joyous job.
Filling up the water tank. And I think in a little bit we're gonna head out to Catalina Cove for the night, just to get away from the marina.
Okay. I'm not quite.
So every day it seems to be like there's something new. We pulled the plug off. We noticed that one of the prongs was singed, and actually the plastic of our male plug had actually melted a little bit. So we just ordered some new smart plugs and a new receptacle for that as well. As we were filling up the water, I wanted to check the level. So I opened the inspection hatch, and when we got in there, we realized that the walls are covered in mold. So now we have to clean the walls and flush the system. So after removing the inspection hatch, this is what we're looking at. I think the ceiling of the water tank is probably worst, but I'm gonna have to get in here with a sponge, maybe some vinegar, and scrub the walls, and then we'll flush it all out. We're gonna get some water tank system flush. 1 gallon for every 100 gallons, and we have a 185 gallon fresh water tank, so I guess a couple gallons of that and we'll be good to go. Okay, so I've never done this before, but in theory it should work. I've put a hose down into the water tank. Then the hose is leading back. I'm gonna start the suction with the siphon with our tiny shop vac. And once the suction gets out of the hose and starts spitting, I'll remove the shop vac, throw the hose overboard, and hopefully we'll get all this water out.
We're going with a small diameter hose, a little shorter, a bunch less kinks and wraps, so I'm hoping this one.
So we filled up the hose completely. Now we're going to put one end in the tank and one end over the edge and let it empty, and hopefully that suction will
Hold that kink for me.
suck the water out. Unkink?
Unkink.
Still flowing. Alright, yeah, it seems stable.
Alright.
Cool. So as this drains, I'll scrub the rest of the tank. They're gonna head out, get some system flush for the water tank, and some more vinegar.
We're going to meet the cabbie.
Going to meet the cat. So Bill's theory seems to work. We filled the hose, pinched on both ends, dropped this one in. Then we have it running out. Back here, didn't even have to use the shop vac. And we seem to have a slow and steady, but steady is the key, flow of water out. So we'll get that drained out. Once the water gets down low enough, then I can scrub the rest of the tank. The good news is the upper parts of the tank seem to scrub really well. I can get in there for a second time, but much cleaner than it was before. All the water is flushed, or the majority of it. There's only a few cups in there. And now I'm going to attempt to climb into that tiny hole so I can scrub all the way deep down in there and get all that stuff out.
Just returned to find Corey embedded in the water tank.
Leave him alone for a minute.
Yowza. Good thing you're not claustrophobic.
Alright, so we just scrubbed it with vinegar and bleach. That was all the way down in here. It doesn't look super clean, but it was definitely night and day difference compared to what it was. So now we're just refilling it with some fresh water. Flush it. Refill, flush, refill, flush.
Headed out to Catalina Cove. We've got 16 to 23 knots, I believe. Let's see here. True wind, 17, 18 knots. So we've got one reef in the sail. Got Corey and Dad over here. I'm gonna fall off. Take a look at that. Oh yeah.
Fall off a little bit more, and if you got a helm, let me know, and I'll let it go.
We're out here with Parejo Island. Our first time anchoring is over here.
So we thought we were going to have a pretty pleasant sail out to Catalina Cove today. We checked the charts, we checked predicted wind. It said about 11 knots, and we got out here and we were beating the whole way 40 degrees and about 20 to 23 knots of wind. Some of us got a little motion sickness, including Jasper. But we're here, now we're swimming.
Hook some lips. Rip some lips. I believe there's a thunderstorm coming in, but hopefully it doesn't. Look at our hands all lined up, so cute. Sending the Corvus down under. What you gonna do?
Try and clean out our through holes. They're clogged with barnacles.
Put his finger on Barney yesterday. That's why we're putting on these big boys.
Alright, we're cleaning off all the barnacles on the props and the through holes. We tried to start our water maker, and the water maker was making weird noises, and we figured that the inlet pipe was clogged, and sure enough it was. I cleaned one of the props already. Now I'm cleaning the other. But for only being in the water for 2 months, I never expected it to be this bad. Allison and Peepaw made us a wonderful lunch for today. Cucumber and avocado sandwiches.
Cream cheese. And then a little chicken salad left over with some tomatoes and mayonnaise.
Which was my first time trying it the other day. I guess it's an East Coast thing, and it was very delicious. How's she taste? Thank you for lunch, guys. I'm gonna get back to work. I've been thinking about this thing for hours, and now I think I finally solved it. I finally figured out this WeBoost antenna routing. We have this WeBoost here that boosts our cell service. One came with the marine antenna. It comes with this bracket here. Also, we'll have our antenna as high as possible. I pulled the medicine cabinet off the wall to expose all of these electronics, so I can run the cable down through that hole back there. We heavily rely on our cell phones because, well, that's how we communicate, and that is all of our internet service as well. So we need to have good cell service, which is why we got the WeBoost. So I've got it wired up here. I've got the power and internal antenna, the indoor antenna here, going through our communication station, which has our radio, our music radio, our Garmin InReach, our Iridium Go, and then it's run down here through our restroom, and the cables are running down here. The rest of the antennas running down through the engine room out here, back to the transom, up through our little spoiler guy, and onto the solar panels. Hope it works. So I've run into a new issue where I need to run the cables either down through there, or what may seem a little easier is down through here, but I just don't know how yet. I was able to find a long PVC tube that I was able to stick through the hole, and then I taped the power cord and the internal antenna to the end of that PVC tube, and then I'm going to go in here where the butt of the PVC tube is, right here, and hopefully I'll be able to pull this through. And that didn't sound good. Alright, let's try that again. Taped it back onto the tube. that's not good either. Let's try that in. This is looking promising. There it is. So that worked. I've got the Wii Boost now hard mounted, connected to power and the inside antenna. Now it's going to be the hard part, attaching the exterior antenna to that end, routing it through, back to the transom, up to the spoiler. And Bill came up with a good idea of using a plumbing snake. And what we'll have to do, just run the cable through there, all the way down. Luckily, we can gain access through there, and then I'll help it into the engine room, which then I could snake it around to the Wii Boost, which I think is somewhere around here. Well, that took a lot of effort, but we finally managed to get it in. So we just have the internal antenna here. We have the off and on switch here. Here it is here. Then routing the cable down through this part, down through the engine room is probably the most difficult part. Great thing about this, we can move this, and this lays down nice and flat and rests on this bar here, and then we can do a little bungee cord just to hold it in place. But we are pretty stoked on this guy.
What have I learned? Well, besides the jumping fish, which are kind of interesting, something more important came up last night that really has stirred my interest and my concern. And that's a phenomenon called a chubasco. It's not a dish, it's a storm. And it's very hard to predict. And they come out of nowhere, and when they do, they come with a mighty force. We woke up to a gale, a howling. I mean, it's like, whoa! I mean, really, it woke you up with this howl. And we're in port, so we didn't have much to worry about, but if we're out on anchor and 40, 50 mile an hour wind hits us and we're not prepared, we may not be sharing any more videos with you. I mean, really, this is serious stuff. And what I found interesting is coming from, land, we're pretty well notified about things. And not here. You really have to be your own weather forecaster. You see a barometer on every boat, and here it's important. Those barometers can give you a little bit of warning. Not a lot, but you can have a little bit of warning to get prepared. And that's what I've learned, is that we need to be on our toes, watching the weather, and being our own forecasters. And then hopefully we'll be able to continue these wonderful little vignettes and share them with our favorite people, you. Like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe so you can have all these little tidbits of information. Bye.